Good morning, Namaskar. Good morning. This is my identity as professional engineer at international level. Though it's valid up to end of September, but it's in process of renewal. So don't worry about that. It's International Professional Engineer Certificate issued by Institution of Engineers India, Royal Chartered Body, and it is here. Chartered Engineer Certificate, Chartered Engineer, which is statutory designation according to Royal Charter 1935, and also this is chartered membership, that is fellow membership of Institution of Engineers, FI, that's right, that's written. And this is as usual my data that I used to involve in my discussions every day: project management, concrete management, material management, FedEx contracts, and COVID, etc., whatever it is, just for information in general. Introductory statement before doing further moving on this issue. And of course, it's cold here in Delhi, and around is 8 degrees in morning with 90% humidity. You can say how it is. Temperature is not big issue is humidity. It's 90% humidity at present, and 90% is 45% within room itself. It says AccuWeather report says within room indoor humidity is 45%, which is not easy, but you close your rooms and everything, and even then you shall be affected by cold and death. Reason I'm little warm. I'm little warm. एंड मेरे दोस्तों नमस्कार. थोड़ा मैं हिंदी में बोल दूँ क्योंकि रिक्वायरमेंट है लोगों की. मैं अभी स्टार्ट कर रहा हूँ आज की बातचीत, जिसमें जो इशू रोज़ होते हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन के बारे में, प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में, डिज़ाइंस के बारे में, कम्युनिकेशन के बारे में, जो भी चलता है उसके बारे में. छोटी मोटी बात, कोई लंबी चौड़ी नहीं. मैं कोई बहुत बड़ा नहीं हूँ, बहुत छोटा सा आदमी हूँ. आई एम वेरी स्मॉल गाय एंड आई जस्ट वांट टू interact with you about this. Whatever we are doing is for common good. Means I'm not saying I'm a good giver, but something is better than nothing, you can say. If you have experience and you share with public, you share with people of world, I think you feel pleased, and it's only for that I can say. I have about, you can say, if you count from, even not for live 1974, if you count from 80s, even when I qualified my engineering degree, so it's more than 40 years. And if you count from my 5 years more, 6 years more, so 45 more is, you can say, I'm now 66, and if you start from 20, then you can say 46. 4 years is considerable experience, you can say. अच्छा खासा जीवन का निष्कर्ष अच्छा खासा, एक अच्छी तरह से जीवन का एक, आप कह सकते हैं तजर्बा, कहते हैं तजर्बा, या आप क्या कहें, हिंदी में यही प्रॉब्लम होती है बोलने की, एक्सपीरियंस कहिए, छोड़िए बाकी बातों को. संघर्ष, जीवन का संघर्ष कह सकते हैं. स्ट्रगल इन इंजीनियरिंग, स्ट्रगल इन प्रैक्टिस, स्ट्रगल इन फील्ड, स्ट्रगल इन लाइफ. यू कैन फाइंड स्ट्रगल्स एवरीवेयर. And if you do not undergo struggles, you don't feel that you perform something, because without struggle there is no life. To be very frank, if I say struggle is root of success, or root of development, or root of independence, a root where you have confidence, struggle is only item that gives you a degree of confidence. You may be having big money, large sum. You belong to very rich family. Your father is very strong, your mother is very strong, and you got money, you have no problem at all in life. But remember, even then, because of money you have confidence, because of status you have confidence, and otherwise you are not confident. You are not confident at all. अगर आपके पिता बहुत बड़े हैं, बहुत पैसे वाले हैं, आपका परिवार बहुत ऊंचा है, आप बहुत पैसा रखते हैं, बहुत आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं, आपकी सोर्सेस आपको आगे ले जा सकती हैं, आपकी शक्ति नहीं, याद रख लेना. स्ट्रगल आपने नहीं किया क्योंकि आपको तो पका पकाया मिला है. एवरीथिंग यू आर गेटिंग इन योर हाउन एंड रेडी मेड बाय योर फादर, योर पेरेंट, योर फैमिली, योर सोसाइटी एंड एवरीवन. So you are supported immensely and there is no other person who go opposite because of your power and strength. So you cannot say you are involved in struggle. Struggle is struggle. Sangharsh. If you are not involved in struggle, you cannot build up yourself. If that's a fake building, that's a fake struggle. You say, I am struggling, I have been struggling, but you aren't struggling because you have resources. So your resources are struggling, not you. Even you make losses of crores in that, your father shall excuse you, your family shall excuse you. But those who don't have anything, they have to struggle. Struggle is very important, and I call it really development engineering of human being. I relate it to human engineering, I relate to human development. The confidence building of a person comes from struggle. It doesn't come from something else. Even experience gives you struggle because you have to struggle everywhere at every point in experience. You may be in whatever discipline of your engineering branch, you have to struggle from day one or even before studying. You have to struggle to get admissions and then studying and then getting examination through and then joining some field of work. That is very important point we have to understand. Without struggle nothing. Why I'm taking this struggle into talk? Because engineering practice itself is struggle. Just like thinking. Thinking is struggle. You know that. Thinking is also struggle. You can ask why you are talking like this today. Today I am talking like this because you are sleeping. Sunday. I want to disturb you. You want to disturb, I know, because you are enjoying sweet dreams. I am sitting here around 4 o'clock in the morning and talking to none but walls. What to do? I feel happy to talk for some benefit of public, of humanity, of whole world, not to our country itself. Our country is great, but people are different. Everybody likes easy life. Everybody likes, comfortable life, pleasing life, enjoying life. Or you can say all people like honeymoon time all time. Remember, honey is honey and moon is moon. Moon is never full size all time. It's not constant. Keep on varying its size. And honey, you know what is honey. So honeymoon is not very solid. It's not perfect in area. Don't rely on honeymoon. That's what I say. But this is engineering which doesn't depend on honeymoon, which depends on your brain, on your physical effort. You can say brain work and physical work gives you some engineering. Engineering means mind application. Even though it's work on physical side, yet it is decided by mental power of a person who is involved in engineering, irrespective of fact whether you are an engineer or not an engineer. You may be whatever else worker on site, but you are involved in engineering. A foreman, a supervisor, a site person, charge hand, and all technicians or artisans all directly or indirectly involve themselves in activities pertinent engineering. सारे जो लोग काम करते हैं साइट पे, चाहे वो इंजीनियर क्वालिफाइड हो या ना हो, जो भी है वहां पे चार्ज हैंड, फोरमैन, सुपरवाइजर, कोई भी टेक्नीशियन, वर्कर, कार्यकर्ता, जो भी कार्यकर्ता क्या है कर्मचारी, रियल कर्मचारी, वो सब एक तरह से सीधे रूप से या डायरेक्ट कहीं ना कहीं इंजीनियरिंग की कार्यवाही को कर रहे करते. I like it. Sometimes I did not understand before in my life what these people are. I used to say, if you are not well educated, if you are not up to date, a graduate or postgraduate or someone, or you are not, you don't know English or you don't know literature, you are not up to date. I had that thinking in my mind because I was taught like that. But when I started learning life, when I started learning life, real sciences in the field without box, I came to know that it's not necessary that only education can provide you input. Your work provides you lot input. When I see some officers in offices, very highly qualified scientists, very highly qualified engineers and doctors and all that, Okay, fine. They have their regard, their field, their journey, their hard work. But when I see people, they call laymen or labor, and I see their work, I refute in myself, why should I call them labor? Only to them, why should I call them labor? मैं उनको लेबर या मजदूर क्यों कहूं? क्या उनकी मजदूरी है? मैं भी तो मजदूर हूं. I am also labor. Okay, I am qualified engineer. I work, I supervise and design, all that I command, but ultimately I am also labor. So there exists no difference between me and those people's work. I think that is the way I should think. So I change my thinking. Because if suppose those people work with me, hundreds, 200, 300, 400 or whatever number, they work with me according to designs, according to drawings which I prepare or someone else give. If someone else gives, we have to follow that. This means I only instruct them, but they know how to implement that instruction from all levels of artisans to down, including guard or peon. They implement instructions and they know very well how to implement them, or if you just train them, they can do it. This means, okay, they are not very well educated, they have not gone to schools or university colleges, but they do what you expect them or instruct them to according to their trade or vocational callings. This means they have callings in themselves, they know their activity of their trade, respective trade. You can say mason knows all activities of masonry, that is called mason. Carpenter knows all activities of formwork, so we call them carpenter. Steel fixing knows how to understand length of a bar, how to understand how to cut it, what's diameter, how to bend it, how to place it, how to fix it, all that. That's called steel fixer. Similarly, welder know how to weld, which flaxes to use, which rod to use, which machine, which power use, and the welding. And similarly, fabricator does its job, and everybody else, all artisans involved in field and sites, they work accordingly. This means some technical factor stays with them. You cannot simply say they are laymen. No, they are not lay people. They are learned people. Of course, they don't have text knowledge. They don't have written knowledge, but they have practical knowledge, or you can say virtual knowledge. They assess what work they do. They know how much work has been done. They know how many hours have gone. How much does it take to do one activity, and how can they do it, make it better, and what part of quality they have to think. Though they do not understand quality, but they know how to cut something, how to divide something, how to do something, how to use it vertically, how to use it horizontally. I mean, whatever is required in method description, without even reading them, they know some method. Actually, they know something, and we extract their experience and knowledge without telling them, and we transform that into some written document. To be very frank, no engineer knows site work. Even you are a diploma engineer or a degree engineer or a MA engineer or PhD engineer or whatever engineer, until you experience on-site realities, you cannot learn anything. Your professors can teach you books only, your lecturer can teach you books only. Your experience, until you don't have, you cannot do engineering work. That is very true, because your professor has never worked on site, your principal has never worked on site, you never worked on site, but you have to learn from those who are exposed to site, and they are only those people, those mass who work on site, your subordinates and your subordinates subordinate. This is a very important point I'm trying to discuss with you, because of engineering work. Engineering work are done by very intellect people, highly qualified people, middle class people who are qualified, and also those who never visited colleges or schools, but they can erect buildings by their own knowledge of activities. So activities do not require something if it's practical, but only problem is those people cannot write that because of restrictions of their academical educations. But that you replenish their losses, and you transmit what they think and how they do into certain kind of written statements, documents. In this case, I can say, I can consider this a kind of struggle, though it's part of duty, yet is a struggling duty, because you do not know something, but you are qualified. You have a qualification, just like a reporter or journalist, to extract something from someone and write into a story. It's not a story, it's factual life. It costs money, it costs material, natural material, it's got human resources, it costs your equipment, it costs everything. Every point I am referring to produce something. And that is very important from practical and theoretical viewpoint of engineering. See, engineering, as I explained many times and often I refer to, is not that easy as we think. Passing diploma examination or degree examination or postgraduate examination or whatever else does not mean that you can do something. Yes, you understand, you learned some theory and practical in your institution, but until you know, you learn it in field or you do it in field, you do not know what actually it works. Just like you see excavation, if somebody is asked to draw excavation plan and say, okay, I draw these lines around and we keeping certain margin for working space, this is plan we have to do, or we have to excavate the mass and we do. But remember, your straight line of border of excavation does not work on site, because it is never exactly what you have drawn on paper implies on site. That is what I want to say. Site work, or you can say practice on site, is something that you have to understand from reality's point of view, not from theory point of view. Theory is very, very important, without which you cannot move or work, but that is limited to those who are educated in engineering. But those who are not educated in engineering, but they are involved in engineering by virtue of their role, and they are more important in some cases, because what they do you cannot do because of physical reasons or because of whatever other reasons, because of experience or lack of experience. But those people, of course, they are not very well educated, but they can do whatever you cannot do. Foreman, one who stands in sludge and instructs people and instruct who stand in sludge, a waterlogged area, and they work, you cannot do. Wearing gum shoes and your aprons and all that, they work overalls and they take safety measures, and that is where everybody cannot do. Only that person during that hours who can wear and use that kind of, who can accommodate that kind of environment, only that person can work. साइट पे काम करना का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप बहुत पढ़े लिखे हैं। पढ़े लिखे की ज़रूरत तो है, इंजीनियर की ज़रूरत तो है, लेकिन इंजीनियर इंस्ट्रक्शन देता है, इंजीनियर काम नहीं करता। इंजीनियर बता सकता है कि आप ये कीजिए, एक बार करके भी दिखा सकता है अगर उसकी फिजिकल बॉडी अलाउ करती है, लेकिन कोई भी एक्टिविटी हो, काम तो उन्होंने ही करना है। उनको आदत है करने की, उसके बिना उनका काम नहीं चलेगा। उसमें मस्तिष्क भी लगता है और शक्ति भी लगती है, वो उसके बिना काम नहीं कर सकते। वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस फैक्ट्स वेरी वेल लॉन्ग। इफ यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दिस फैक्ट, वी लूज समथिंग। वी हैव टू बी लिटिल वर्चुअल एंड प्रैक्टिकल बोथ, because practice is very important in engineering, and if you do not practice, you do not do any physical work, you can never learn engineering, however big you are in your academics. A professor is null on site if he has never worked on site. Yes, he can tell you bending moment, he can tell you differential equation, he can tell you deflection, he can tell you everything, every formula your teacher would give you. But until you experience on site, you don't even know how concrete formwork is done, how steel is cut and bent, how this is done and that, how we can do scaffolding. All these activities require your practical knowledge and practical experience. There's a problem in our country that we do not value experience. In our country, we fly everything. Oh, no problem. I am young. It doesn't matter you are 40 years experience. It doesn't matter if you have 40 years only, then you know something. I have not much experience, but I am smarter than you. See, I'm just joking, but it's not joke, it's reality. Somebody argued with me some time back, I don't agree that if you don't have experience, you don't know job. Okay, young guy, young person can say anything when he's talked to some senior, but that person forgets that senior was also junior sometime. So it is, thinking capacity. See, experience is experience. Life is life. Yes, it's true that in 365 days, maybe I work only 100 days or 30 days, but if you work all time and you never worked, how can you say there can be no difference? There can be virtual difference, practical difference, factual difference. You cannot say a person who comes just out of university and it doesn't work, and a person who has worked 10 years, 50 or 20 years, there can be no difference at all. There shall be difference. Of course, there can be little difference in understanding of theory, because a person who has worked for 10 or 20 years must have forgotten theory if that person doesn't keep in touch. But a person who keeps in touch, even then, you cannot say what when a new graduate knows. Theoretically, you can compare with him, but theory stops at university, at institution. Then it's in your hands how fast you can move with this, what degree of that what percentage of that theoretical knowledge you keep with you. It depends on in which job you are going, in which field you are going, and how much of that is required. But remember, whatever you do every day, physical work, theoretical work, design work, quantification work, planning work, safety, whatever you perform every day, whatever your role being, you have to learn from that only. Sometimes we do not know that we are learning, but we learn. There was some quality assurance inspection in some company when I worked, and I was not that smart to answer every question. Some quality had asked ourselves, means what training you are imparting to your people, to your workers working on site. Well, because I didn't have extensive experience, I thought training, where we are not giving training actually, because in my mind training was in institution, or training was in some factory, or training is a kind of formal training where some instructor stands and instructs and you learn or write something. For me, that was only a mode of training. Well, my thinking was limited because I did not have extensive experience. Then my senior most director or project manager may call had responded to that person when the question is asked, what is your plan for training? You are not training your people. He asked, why we are not training? We are training. Then that quality guy was held. But there's no training on site. He then asked, what do you mean by training? See, we are getting imported materials, we are having new items. Our people do not know those items, how to apply them. They have to learn. For example, waterproofing and foundations, or epoxy flooring, or something they have never learned. They are learning now. We are teaching them. They are practicing on site. They are learning everything. Those people come from those factories and teach them. You don't think that is training? Training means only theory training. Practical application is also training. So many items they have learned, and they are going to learn many more, and that shall be on record, those people who are learned. So that head of, you can say member of team of quality IS 9001 was satisfied. Yes, this is training. I can't deny that. Because ultimately this is part of project, this is included in present permanent job, and they have done it successfully and they are doing successfully, and they will repeat in future if so required. So that is a part of training. So I also learned that how to respond. It's not simple in college or university or ITI or IITs you learn that is only training. No, that is training by designation. That is training a formal one, but informal training which you get on sites is different. I took training of epoxy flooring. I took training during my job of sports surfacing, high standing sports surfacing. I got training of many more items. So I can also say I got training. I got training in beginning when there was computers in the learned computers. So you can say training is not limited to what you define as training. Training means unlimited sphere where you can learn anything, and you learn anything, whatever you learn in everyday life other than your profession. That's a part of training. As well as you learn something in your profession, that too implies that you got training. So training doesn't mean if you are formally trained. Training means training by you can say by your role. Training means you train self or someone trains you. It doesn't mean if you train yourself, if somebody trains you, it's one and same thing. Sometimes you train yourself by observation. You observe sight, you observe activities, you observe all word, and you are not sure about that. But when you observe, you manage your time. You see what is time, how much it's taking. As I explained before, also it's called activity study, activity based time study. Sometimes we see hundreds and thousands of drawing on projects. Every project is big one, and there are because of thousands of drawing of various disciplines. You can say survey drawings or before survey other drawings, or you can say feasibility drawings, or you can say further drawings, key plans, and process plans, or you can say you may call it chemistry plans. Plans, I mean to say designs, and then architectural, structural, services, roads, extra, landscape, infrastructure, utilities. Means various types of plans, drawings, standard details, project details are always available on projects of mega size, and you find opportunity to read them, to use them, to understand them. That is a big success in your training. Your university, your 5 or 6 year program doesn't have that potential that can give you that one. You have gone through 35 or 40 subjects books written by some authors based on some program schedule, program training, but that is unlimited one which you get in field. You get not only drawings training, you get various kinds of specifications, contract documents, and immensely some more and more and more. Then meetings, then coordination, then liaison, then site work. There is unlimited scope of work that you do on site, and it doesn't come under proof of designations only. What designation do you enjoy? It comes into your role, how much you can learn. Sometimes you are civil engineer, but you have to deal with some parts of electrical as well as mechanical as well as some other role, architectural, or whatever comes in way to be done, and you attempt to do that because it's part of project. So that is also a kind of encroachment learning, you can say, or overlapping learning. It doesn't mean that you become electrical engineer or AC engineer or some other engineer, but a kind of friendly learning. You can say, oh, this is my friend. I say I deal with electrical wiring, I deal with trunking, I deal with this. So I'm not expert of that, but because physically I know what is given in drawing and how electrical guy is doing, how HVAC guy is doing, I look at them and say, okay, fine, it's done this with that. So only that I'm not going to design that. Yes, I'm going to, if it's required, I'll submit a coordinate with that, the drawings and the formula and everything. The electrical loads are distributed this way in whole building, in the whole, how many house is done and how HVAC ducts are giving supply and extract here, and where volume control dampers are required, where fire dampers are required, where this is required, where that is required, where electrical items are coming, where fire items are coming, a firing circuit outside there, and then hose reel and all that, and lifts and elevators and whatever is done, electrical supply, medical equipment, medical circuits, medical boards and all that, whatever is required. Means according to your project you have to learn something on that, and that is called multidisciplinary learning. One should not run away from that. You should not think that you are born only for civil, or you are born only for mechanical, or whatever else you have qualified in. It doesn't mean that, but your role, as designation says, is one, plus you can say other roles that your designation doesn't say. So when you come to level of coordination, that is role where you can play with everyone, you can enjoy every knowledge, because before you are a coordinator, you don't come to that level. Then you have to be only discipline engineer, and in which you have to jump only at fly only on your discipline works, but gradually you come to a level of coordination engineering, and where you can interface with, you can intercoordinate with those people who are in other disciplines, though all disciplines of engineering, and even sometimes you have to deal with other disciplines also, which are not exactly engineering disciplines, but subsidiary disciplines. And that is what I say, coordination is very important. It's whether you go to life, whether you go to society, whether you go to engineering, whether you go to elsewhere, coordination plays its role. Without, even if it is not defined, it plays its role. Even in your family, you have to coordinate. You cannot say it's my family and there's no. If you don't coordinate with family, you cannot be successful. You cannot control your family. If your father doesn't coordinate, if your mother doesn't coordinate, if your siblings don't coordinate, though you may not say there's a coordination, but practically, virtually, it is coordination, because coordination means you are not up or down, you are on same ordinates, you are equal but different responsible. And you have to accept this fact, though formally you do not know, because it's age factor. Your father is senior, he cannot explain to you everything, because you can't understand everything, but your father understands it. But maybe your father doesn't understand in terms of a coordinator, but he knows what is to be done, whom I have to ask, whom I have to respond, what is problem, how to find solution. Coordination is a must. समन्वय कहते हैं हिंदी में, समन्वय. आई मीन टू से, मेरा कहने का मतलब है एक ऐसा प्रोसीजर जिसमें एक जगह कई बातें आनी हैं, एक जगह बैठ के वहाँ कई इंफॉर्मेशन आनी चाहिए, जिससे कि फाइनल इंफॉर्मेशन तैयार हो जाए. वो बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन जो एक जगह आती हैं ज़रूरी है, उनके बिना आप डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते, आप फैसला नहीं ले सकते. वो इंफॉर्मेशन का एक जगह आना अपने आप नहीं होता, कोई ना कोई लाता है. उस लाने वाले को कोऑर्डिनेशन वर्क कहा जाता है. समन्वय करना हर काम को एक साथ. कोऑर्डिनेशन को समझ लीजिए, बड़े बड़ों को समझ नहीं आता, क्योंकि कोई परिभाषा नहीं है कोऑर्डिनेशन की. देयर इज नो डेफिनेशन फॉर कोऑर्डिनेशन, बट टर्म itself says, article coordinate itself says that it is a must. It's not only that you are a coordinator, system is also a coordinator. Your body is also having a coordinator. We have to understand that point. Everywhere coordination exists. Whether or not we recognize it or we don't recognize it, it exists. In your body, your mind is head coordinator. Without application of mind, without functioning of mind, without your mind being very sound, you cannot remain futile or fertile. You will be futile, in fact. I said, you sure you could be futile. Sometimes my tongue also slips, please excuse me for that. Because when you sometimes think, your mind is coordinating so fast that sometimes you cannot synchronize everything. So it happens with everybody. I am also that weak person. I'm not very strong person in my mind is not that strong. It should be, but even then I'm trying to make it more stronger. And that is what I say. Mind is coordinator. Mind instructs your body. But there are other questions also keep coming from your other parts of body, and those mind has to answer. So what I'm saying, for example, I can consider my mind is my head or my top family member. Family means my body is a family. You can say that way. Your body is a family. Yesterday I was saying your body is an institution or a system. Yes, it's a system, it's family, it's institution, it is everything. Because it is a body. Body, just like you call body corporate. It's body corporate. Whom corporate to nature. My body is body corporate to nature. Body corporate to God's system. Not to my system, or not to corporation system, or not to public system, but to nature. Everybody is linked to nature. So we have to say you are a part of natural engineering. Sometimes I also feel that what I talk, I do not know. No, I know what I talk. I know what I talk, and I think when you start talking, something happens in you, you think on. When you are talking on some topic or on some subject or on some philosophy or whatever it is, your mind always is alerted automatically. And when that mind switches on, it starts working in its solid circuit. So when information comes into it and already it has certain store of information, it tries to find answer or find questions. It composes questions or it gives you answers. So mind is something that we have to understand. Those people who fail to understand mind, they always fail. Because mind has so much energy you cannot imagine. Why I am going to mind? Don't take it that way, because engineering is mind work. When I say engineering is mind work, same way medical is mind work, and same way all other professions are mind work. Mathematics is very high powerful mind work. Engineering is mind work. Calculations are mind work. Critical thinking is mind work. And to be very frank, see, I should not say, or I should say I don't know, but mind is something that energizes you in all time of years. Sometimes you see you feel tired. Oh, I am fatigued, I got fatigue, I cannot, I want to sleep, I am not able to sit all, or I have some strain in my body. I'm not stable at this moment to be fully efficient. But sometimes your mind changes everything. What happens? You start thinking something, or you watch television or some other documentary, or you read some book or something. In that strained environment, when your body responds to yielding, your body says, I am yielding, I want to retire currently and take rest. But you like that, but something comes into your mind with a strange power, and you start thinking on that. What happens after a few minutes? If you are really strong, your that problem which are giving you strain disappears, and this new energy brings you some information which doesn't allow you to sleep, and you it keeps you busy in that activity. And that is how mind works. Mind never needs any rest, to be very frank. Mind never needs any rest, because mind does not have permission to rest. You can give permission to rest, but mind doesn't require it. Mind itself meaning is that I am mind, and think of me, and if you do not think of me, I shall think of myself, because I am independent, I am self-reliant, I am mind. You may call me mental, or you may call me by whatever term, but I am mind. And when I work, no one can stop me from working. You may sleep, you may be in dream, but remember, your dreams are also brought by me, created by me, depending on information available in my hormones, in my brain, physical brain, in the structure of that brain. I am available, and I can do whatever I want. I can force you to understand that. I can give you many options, and you have to refer to them. You have to analyze them. You have to understand them. And if you can do that, you will find many solutions, and you can opt for best solutions. I will never stop you, but I will keep feeding you everything. If you don't care for me, even then I shall care for you. And I am mind, mind, mind. Remember, mind is my end, my start. Mind, my end. You can say that. My end. End of what? My end of problems. And when mind is out of your body, you also end. Remember. Now you say, what I have generated? No, I have not generated. Nothing. Mind is that. To be very frank, mind is your luck. Mind is your fortune. Mind is your fate. Mind can move into all directions. It doesn't mean where do you work. It doesn't mean what do you think. You think you are thinking? That's the problem. Everybody thinks that I am doing. As I said, you have to struggle. You have to struggle in life. Struggle is master of mind. Struggle is your father. Struggle is your mother. Struggle is your success. Struggle is your failure. Struggle is your path to success, path to God. Sangharsh. Sangharsh. No sangharsh, no path, no milestone, no density. No density, no destiny, no future, nothing. When I say no density, means density of your power. Though it can't be measured, but density exists. It may be in minus, it may be in minus power, but it exists. So I take engineering in that way. This is also engineering. I'm thinking now. I am thinking from some point of view, keeping those criteria, those parameters, utilizing with this power of mind. Power of mind doesn't mean you sit down and say I am doing meditation. No, that is not power of mind. That is weakness of your mind. That is sit down and meditate. For what you meditate? When you concentrate on your work, it is more than meditation. When you think mathematically, when you think applied mechanics wise, when you think theory of structure wise, your mind moves like something, even Sudarshan Chakra cannot do, that you can do. Sudarshan Chakra? Sudarshan. Swayam Darshan. Sudarshan. Visit. Self-visit. Swayam Darshan. Sudarshan. Sudarshan. You will say, what is talking now? He's become Vishnu. You are Vishnu, everybody is Vishnu, everybody is Brahma, and everybody is Shiva, and everybody is Devi. Everybody is power, because power is with you. There is no disconnection of power flow from God to you. All times it works. It is your duty, it's your responsibility to accept it or to sleep. Power never stops. Just like air never stops, just like sun rays never stop, just like you can say other agencies of or provided by nature never stop. Rain, during rain time it does, and you have to take it or you do not take it, your responsibility. There is a water supply through pipe in your home. If you keep tap closed or you open, it's up to you. So that power keeps on coming because you are a part of God. And mind is God, God representative. How you use your mind, that is your department. Your arms cannot do anything if your mind doesn't instruct it. You cannot write anything if your mind doesn't instruct you. And I said, mind is coordinator, mind is director, mind is decision maker, mind is engineer, mind is professor, mind is everything, and mind is mind. So, what is process of mind? What is, you can say, energy of mind? And I call it thinking, and thinking, and thinking, and thinking is very important. As I usually say, thinking is very important. As I always used to tell you through my calculator, the mobile, maybe I missed this time. I did not use that one. Thinking is very important factor in that. Possibly I could not remember that. Let me see what I did last time. Can I show it to you now or no? I don't know, but let me see. It was there, and I think it is there. Site engineers. No, it's not that. I think I missed something. Please excuse me. I'm just trying to find. That file which I possibly showed to you many times. and that is very important as well. I don't know where it goes. Maybe you think it's disturbing, it's wasting our time. Yes, you may say that, no problem. Sometimes problems do exist and we have to be. I just wanted to show what I, I don't know, I'm not able to find that. I'm really full, I am, yes. I'm following it, yes, I'm really full indeed. I have all words I can use for myself, not for you, don't worry. For me, I can say whatever I want to say. I need not bother about that because I am stupid. I am not able to find that now. Okay, sometime others I'll see that one because I forgot in many months what I did or I did. Sorry for that. I'll show you sometime else. Now, people say luck is everything, but engineering says that luck is not everything. There's a clash between luck and luck. Yes, you can say luck has a value, but work has more value. You know, there are two types of luck. One luck is that you think everything will happen on its own. Yes, you are right, everything may happen on its own, and you enjoy that. Everything happens on its own. Everything can happen on its own, that's right way, but shall it happen on its own, that's another way. You know, you say, see, sun has come, moon has come, air has come, light has come, rain has come. This is all happening because of an or sound. No, they are not happening. They happen because of system infected in, system built in. Without systems, this cannot happen. That is fact of life. We have to understand that fact. There's some design, there's some program made by God. Program is by God, not by me, not by you, and God stays in my mind. I believe that. I cannot prove it, but I believe that because if you don't think something and you start talking of that and you successfully talk on that, what do you think? This means some power is working behind you and that power belongs to God. That power is blessing on you for that time during that hour when you talk of that, and that's called God's work actually, not your work. I believe all these technologies, this knowledge, whatever we use or we claim that we have, and that is successful, or it may not be successful even, because success also depends on time. When time comes, you will be successful. That is work of God, I say. And remember that I never claim that I have done this, because I know I have not done that. Usually, sometimes we do something undue, or we never expected that to be done at that moment, but we do that. When we do that, we think it's my done. Yes, physically it's your done, but don't forget physically also is not your physique. Mental you are because your mind, but mind is energized by someone else. You think when you sleep, you weave dreams, you don't have any conscience that time. You don't know what do you work and where are you located, because your body is sleeping. But you move around and you see so much you never even expected, you never even thought, but you see. This means I don't know which power, but some power. But some power. Which power is that? I can't claim, but there is some power. Everybody experiences dream. I don't think that there can be someone who doesn't experience that. They may say I never dream, but they forget dream, that's why they say that. Dreams tell something. And Engineering conception is dream. Engineering itself is dream. Because engineering starts from imagination. Engineering starts from negativism, minus, and minus is dream, plus is mundane. When I say mundane, mundane means this solar system and earth, mundane. And when I say hypothetical or imagination, this means invisible system. We do not know. A system that exists but invisibly. This earth is visible, so it's part of known material. And that soul which earth is moved by, we do not know. Which power operates this earth? Which power operates whole solar system and whole universe? That power is actually engineered spirit. When this universe might have been developed or constructed, somebody did that. We do not know who is this, but we believe that is. Because if that doesn't exist, this universe cannot work. This universe could not be built in. So this is implied learning. This is implied thought. If something is happening, there should be someone. So if my mind works, if I think, if I conceive something which I never seen, which I have never worked, which has not been done, if I think it can be done this way, and if I am able to do using resources, whatever resources are available, if I use those materials to realize my dream, to think of how to realize, and that process is called engineering. Engineering starts from imagination. Many levels of imagination, many levels, layers of imagination, and then input by resources, input by human resources and material resources and equipment resources. We reach to some level of physical construction or physical production, material production, and that is called engineering. So just to define engineering, we have to understand whole world. We have to understand universe. That is first requirement, which you never understand. We straight away go and say, I am a civil engineer, I am an electrical engineer, I studied for so many years, I got it. But we forget we are supported by something, and many things. That part we forget because we do not really try to learn what we are. We do not try to know what we are, how we are, and that's point we have to be very serious about. I don't know why people are calling, what's the meaning they want. I don't know reason behind that, why they are disturbing all this time. Let me see what this gentleman says. So a point is that this negativism is very important point in our life. Though people don't like negativism, but without negativism, nothing is going to happen. When you say negative, for example, I can 10 to power minus 6. When say 10 to power minus 6, what does it mean? It means 1 over 10 to power 6. You say micron it is. Yes, it is micron. Its power of silicon chips, its power of software, its power of hardware, which coordinate together. So there is no power in hardware, but silicon chips, electron move together, you remember. There is electronic, we call electronic. Why do we call it electronic? Because there is electronic movement. Every atom has three parts. One is electron, one is proton, one is neutron. Proton is positively charged, electron is negatively charged, and neutron is, you can say neutron is neutral. Electron is very important because it's negatively charged. Proton is positively charged, it is potential already, so its potential can be utilized only by movement of electrons. So it's called electronics. 10 to power minus 6, this means negative stands there and positive uses it. Very simple example, we see 2 plus 2 we call 4. Why do we call 4? because this is accumulation or this is addition of physical to physical. What about minus 2? Minus 2, what do you call it? We call minus 4. Why do we use minus there? Because that is invisible. We cannot see it. This is hidden somewhere. This means something is hidden. And that hidden knowledge has to come out. That has to come out to be made positive. And that is engineering. Something in mind, something in the hypothetical world, something in speculation, समथिंग इज इमेजिनेशन. कल्पना में जीती है वो. कल्पना में हम कल्पना कर सके तब. कल्पना में वो जीती है शक्ति, वो इंजीनियरिंग की शक्ति जो हम नहीं जानते. हम इंजीनियर होने के बाद भी उसको देख नहीं सकते, लेकिन कहीं तो है. वो बिल्डिंग जो मैं बनाना चाहता हूं कहीं तो है. इट एग्जिस्ट समवेयर. वो स्ट्रक्चर जो मैं सोचता हूं कहीं तो है, लेकिन मैं देख नहीं सकता. मैं कल्पना में ले सकता हूं, उसके बाद मैं अपनी शक्ति लगा के उसको बना सकता हूं, लेकिन शक्ति वो मेरी नहीं है. शक्ति वो उसकी है जिसने मुझे बनाया. उसको हम इंजीनियरिंग कहते हैं. पूरी दुनिया बनी, पूरा विश्व बना, सौरमंडल बना, पूरी ब्रह्मांड बना. किसने बनाया? उस इंजीनियर ने जिसको हमने देखा नहीं. और वो इंजीनियर कौन है हम जानते हैं. और नाम कुछ भी दीजिए आप, मुझे उससे फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. नाम भगवान दीजिए, विश्वकर्मा, कुछ भी दीजिए आप, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. लेकिन मेटेरियलाइज करना इंजीनियरिंग है. यू मेटेरियलाइज दैट इमेजिनेशन which I can conceive because there is some power which is forcing me to conceive that. It's not me, it's not myself that I try to imagine. I am no one to imagine. There is some picture coming into my mind and I try to read it as, oh, I am imagining that. Oh, I have vision. Nobody has vision until my father, grandfather, spiritual father or mother, who gives me that power, that God, that Devi, or whatever you call it, helps my body, my mind, and my mind is dish of that. My mind is radar of that. My radar receives it, and I imagine that. I say it has come to my when file is entered into my mind, file is received by mind. I open that file, it may be whatever, I read that and I say I am imagining that. And then because I am trained for that, I start thinking how to use available resources to realize that vision or that file which has come to my mind into real world, and that is called engineering. Very simple. That's why I always say, think and do and deliver. If somebody says what is engineering, I would say think first. Think, because without thinking you cannot do anything. And if you do without thinking, you will just destroy material, and abuse every involvement with that. Thinking is very important. Soch, not vichar. I say soch. How can you think? What can you think? कैसा सोचते हैं आप? क्या सोचते हैं आप? ऑब्जेक्टिव सोचते हैं या पागलपन सोचते हैं, या अपने लिए सोचते हैं या दूसरों के लिए सोचते हैं? यही डिफरेंस होता है. किसी ऑब्जेक्टिव के लिए सोचना इंजीनियरिंग है. मुझे ये बनाना है, चाहे वो छोटी सी चीज हो या बड़ी सी चीज हो. इट मे बी स्मॉल आइटम और इट मे बी बिग आइटम. Objective depends upon your capacity. When you are a baby, you think I want to break this toy or I want to make this toy. You play with toy and sometimes you break this toy and sometimes you learn that toy, how this toy could be constructed. Both options are there. You break it or you assemble it. If you try to assemble it, you can be a constructive person. And if you have a habit of breaking, baby has a habit to break everything. You can say baby is something that tries to break it to learn how it was constructed. Both ways you learn something. Breaking or deassembling you can call it, and making or assembling you can call it, because you are not doing anything original, but you are standing on a toy learning platform. All kids have different habits. Some are scientific kids and some are just to enjoy life. There are some kids we can't identify them, but they are. From start in their babyhood, they are not very naughty, and they are so serious. They always think of how to do something unknown, and they try to do it. They imagine through some toys how to make a building. They do it. How to use some matchsticks and use some thread or string on them and keep apart and say, hello, how do you do? Means you make it use of a kind of unknown telephone system. Like this, life moves. So engineering, which we say real engineering, is that it's not somebody gives you, it's that you learn yourself. Yes, somebody gives you, that's formal training only, and that training is just a medium, how you can use that medium for realizing your mind. Mind has no limits, remember. When you say mind, use of mind is in your hands, but energy comes from nature. Whatever energy you need, it comes. There is no way that it would not come. This means you have to bring luck to you. Yes, you have to procure luck. It's not born luck, it's luck that is demanded. Born luck is that you are born in a family which is having billions of rupees, so you need not worry about anything. I mean, you can say you are born in very high level of spoon, but not your own spoon, your father's spoon or clan spoon. That spoon does not give you any credit because you are born in that. But when you are nowhere and you pull luck or you procure luck and do something or succeed in your life, that is much better than that billions of rupees which were not yours. But here your efforts are yours. You always feel happy, you feel pleased, you feel satisfied that I got something by my own. Your father may give you billions of rupees, your father may give you build bungalows to live, but you don't feel it's mine. That's the difference. You are in charge, you are owner of a bungalow, but you don't feel internally that it's yours. But if you have a hutment, only small hutment, by your own earning, you feel that it is yours. That is the difference. Luck given items are not your items. Those are items that you are blessed with, but your own items, even you own a small wheel of a car, you say, yes, I have a wheel and I can make a car. That is called engineering mind. Other mind is enjoying mind. Oh, I have to live comfortable throughout night because my father is very rich, has given me all this. I need not worry about this. I drink every day, morning until evening. I keep drinking and enjoying with girls and this and that, or boys. And you say that is not engineering. That is de-engineering. Something you break. Because life is not to enjoy. What? Can you enjoy all time? Maybe you have to live for 80 years. Can you enjoy for 80 years? Think of. Yes, childhood is good. You can enjoy. That is your right also. Nobody stops it if you have capacity. If your father permits you, you can enjoy. Your mother permits, you can enjoy. But how long can you enjoy? My point is that. Means everything is limited. If you fly, can you fly forever? Never. If you travel by train, can you travel all time? No. If you say, okay, go on walking, can you walk all time? No. Tell me one activity that continues forever. Think of that. Two activities are there in your body itself. One is your nose work, that is respiration, breathing. This is linked to your life or your body, whole body. And other one is your mind. You sleep or you don't sleep, your mind works. You do or don't do, your mind works. You like or you don't like, your breathing works. But your eyes can close, your arms can sit down, your legs can sit down, you sleep. During your sleep, your breathing works and your mind works. So these 2 points, you have to breathe your career, you have to live in your mind, or you have to sleep. Remember, sleeping also gives your mind, but it may give you bad mind as well. It may give you destructive mind as well. And destructive mind is very dangerous. We should be clear about that. Destructive mind means nuclear bomb. Destructive mind is criminal mind. Destructive mind is a robber. So destructive mind is devil, you can say. Devil. It is devil design. Because devil doesn't lose its energy, it wants to use energy, but for something which may be good or may not be good for others. But creative mind, it's called creative because it creates something. Creates something. God is a creator, God was a creator, God shall be creator. Earth, sun, moon, all. These are not small buildings. These are not small items, but created. Tell me from where this metal was brought. Can we think of that? I cannot think. I don't have that capacity. That thinking is to be resolved. Now when I say thinking is mind and mind is thinking, how was this earth, how was this moon, how was this sun, how was Jupiter, all other planets could be constructed? Can we ever think of? How much metal is used in them, from where that metal is brought? Now if you want to use or construct some building, some structure, something, some project here, we can say, okay, we'll take earth material and construct that. This means if we want to do engineering on this earth, we require earth material. Otherwise we cannot do. अगर हमको जमीन पे कुछ बनाना है, कुछ भी बनाना है, मकान बनाना है, कोई प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है, तो जमीन से ही तो मटेरियल लेना होगा. चांद से तो नहीं लाएंगे, जुपिटर से तो नहीं लाएंगे, सूरज से तो नहीं लेंगे आप. मेटल तो जमीन से लेना होगा. मीन्स वी हैव ए रिसोर्स. We have a resource and we have to utilize that resource in engineering. All resources, in all engineering, in all social development, in all world development, in all national development, we have to use those resources. Whose resources are they? They say this is my ownership. Every nation says this is my ownership. How it is your honors? How you are honor of this? Nobody can answer. It's my ownership. Arab says these all reservoirs of oil are my ownership. America has also done so. It's my ownership. Means you are not a thinker. You are owner of something which is not your ownership. This is God's ownership. You are not owner of that. You are just resident on that surface. That's why you are claiming it's your honor. Did you make this earth? You did not make this earth. आपने तो जमीन नहीं बनाई. किसी भी नेशन ने जमीन नहीं बनाई. फिर आपकी ऑनरशिप कैसे हो गई? इसलिए आप ऑनर हैं कि आप वहां रहते हैं उसके ऊपर, बस आपके ऑनर हो गए. जबरदस्ती वाली बात. यही बात है. आपको यूज करने का अधिकार नहीं मिला है, लेकिन आप यूज कर रहे हैं. लेकिन इंजीनियरिंग वही करता है जिसको अधिकार होता है यूज करने का, लेकिन वहां भी माइंड का अधिकार नहीं होता है, मेटेरियल का अधिकार होता है. माइंड तो आपका है. आप करें, कितना करें, कैसे करें, दिस इज इन योर हैंड्स. एंड माइंड हैज नो वॉल्यूम. माइंड गॉट नो मेजरमेंट. माइंड इज माइंड. एंड माइंड इज बेस्ड ऑन थिंकिंग, एंड थिंकिंग इज यूनिट ऑफ इंजीनियरिंग. नो डिग्री, no masters, no doctors can define engineering. Engineering is defined by mind. How much can you think? That is engineering. You can say thinking itself, thinking itself is engineering. Because in engineering there is no restriction. In medical there is restriction, you have to follow some procedures for surgery. Yes, you have to. But in engineering, you have to define your procedures yourself. You define the thing you define, and there can be variation in procedures. There can be variation in methods. And those variations must be according to requirement, according to definition, according to set criteria and set formulas. That's okay, you have to comply with all them. Non-compliance is not admissible, which is a part of quality system. When I give you so many examples outside engineering, but those do constitute engineering, remember. When I talk of whole universe, because universe are also engineered sometimes, we do not know. Only point is from where this material came. If you calculate materials of earth, materials of other planets, Jupiter, sun, all that, you will become mad to know quantification. You will mad to know what quantities of material were used there and how it might be arranged, from where it was arranged. And you may say it is energy converted to material, or what happened. We have no answer yet. Theories may be there, imaginations may have something then there, but there is no evidence till now how this was done. That's what I say. God gives a chance to engineers to use mind. Engineer has immense minds, otherwise you cannot become an engineer. But it's unfortunate that after earning degree in engineering or other degrees in engineering, we forget all this and keep a pride in us that I have this title and that title. But do we use that title in work? There is no such answer, because everybody has brought engineering or some profession to earning ends only, ends which give you money, ends which give you life, and you relate engineering to that. Whereas I consider engineering as profession of religion. Engineering is a religion. Religion doesn't guarantee you any money. I may say religion or faith, you can say. I don't call it faith because I believe in professional religion. I believe in a religion. My engineering profession is a religion. I consider it that way. Why should I believe in something which I do not know? I have been taught engineering. I have understood engineering. I know what engineering. I can think. So thinking is my religion. Engineering is my religion. You can say that way. What's wrong with that? Why should I live in some doldrum? I live in some profile which I do not have any proof with. We just imagine, okay, this is my religion rule, I have to follow this. You follow or not follow, that's your problem. But something which is written, which can be done, that is religion. Because nobody came with religion and nobody will go with religion. Your soul will go, your body will stay here in which you are living in. You have to live in for wholly of life. That's your body, your house. This house shall also stay here. So only your power, that's your soul, will go. And this soul you are not body in fact. This body is just a carrier, is your car. You are sitting in this body and you are driving this car. Your soul power strength is driving your body, and this is engineering driver. So my soul is my driver, my soul is my director, and my soul is my head of engineering. So when I say engineering, when I say construction, when I say design, when I say organization, when I say whatever I say, all do relate to soul engineering. Don't think that my degree would help me, my higher education would help me, this would help me. Only my mind and my efforts, my sincerity, my commitment, my obligation, and my milestones which I do not know, my life end which I do not know, would help me. And I know once I lose this body, once I loosen this earth, it doesn't mean terminal comes. I have to go to some other site. I consider earth my site, lithosphere my project. Whatever role I have to do with this, it's my site or my project for a duration since I was born until I travel on this planet. So this is my site. If somebody asks you which site you are, I would say earth is my site. There are documents in this project? Yes. That's also a question mark. There are documents in my mind. Documents, resources are very important for engineering. Sometimes I shift my mind to something else, but remember, my ultimate goal is engineering, because I do not consider engineering only as engineering profession. If you keep it in professional way, you cannot do good to yourself. You cannot do justice to your career. You cannot do justice, because if you just think it's a profession, then you measure in terms of how much you are earning, what reputation you have, how many awards you have received. All these baseless points, award, money, status, to be very frank, these are all baseless. These are only very relative profile, simple profile. You just have a pride. Oh, see, I am awarded engineer, I am awarded author. When you are engineer, it itself is an award. You are representative of God, remember. True engineer is representative of God, because God wants to improve this earth through you. Some part of responsibility is given to you. You try to understand that. There is nothing in this world which is not available. And you are not creating anything, remember. You are doing work because resources are available, sources are available. No engineering can move without resources, and even mind is a resource. Thoughts are resource, because these come without any explanation. These come to everybody. Somebody receives them, somebody does not receive them. Those minds which have opened, which have been trained, those receive them. And that training is to receive this information through mind, and this mind uses that information to process it further through your body. And this body, in that case, you can call it a tool. So my body is a tool itself, and my mind uses all these parts of my body as tools. Try to understand this point. This is very important point, because I always argue on this thing, because when I think, I enjoy. When I think, I enjoy, and I also think that when you think you enjoy, you cannot deny this fact. Maybe sometimes you say, I'm strained, I'm stressed. That is possible, because this is life. Everybody can be strained, everybody can be stressed, nobody can stop that. But remember, life is full of stress, and life is full of certain handwritten documents also which relieve your stress. Sometimes you make some pictures while sitting, thinking something, and you create something there which have got meaning or no meaning, but you are relieved. And like this, you can say some drawing, some sketches, something you draw through your mind, so some stain coming into your mind can be relieved like this. This I'm just giving you an example. This is how to diminish, how to rub out your stain from the mind. Means there are so many ways. Some people write poets, some write stories, some enjoy in my mind as something of something else which cannot be denied, but you relieve yourself. That's important point. Engineering, I again say, is work of totality. It's not simple mind, but I say work of totality, because God gives you support. God grants you support. God grants you permission. And of course, when you do honestly, sincerely something in field of development, in field of construction, in construction, I say construction doesn't mean construction of structures, means construction of everything it is. When God sends you for something to this site, earth, God expects also something. Means you have to respond to what God expects. And if you forget that, of course everybody forgets. According to age, time, it gradually comes into your mind that, which means say, what's my ambition? My ambition is this. It's not your ambition, first of all. But because you at that time you do not realize power of God, so you say it's my ambition, it's my will. आपकी ambition है ये, आप बनना ये चाहते हैं, वो इसलिए आपके माइंड में आता है कि कहीं ना कहीं आपको उसी के लिए भेजा गया है. आपको इंजीनियर बनना है, डॉक्टर बनना है, क्या बनना है, आई जो भी बनना है आपको, आपकी मर्जी है. बट रिमेंबर, you do not own anything. Whatever you say it's my ownership, it's because of resources and nothing else. And these resources are by that power. This resource is earth, because we are on earth, and our resource is earth, no other resource, no other source. When we are living in earth, earth is our money, earth is our future, earth is our thing, and we can't abuse earth. And whatever infected on earth, whatever links on earth from nature that we use sun, air, rain, as I said, atmosphere, whatever we use, sea and ocean, and all these metals hidden within earth we use. These all sources help us develop it further. But when we say that we are living beings, yes, we are living beings, and we have some future, we have some life, and when we start thinking ourselves in materialism is physical entity, and we keep aside our soul power, keep aside strength of soul or spirit, and then we change our attitude, we shift to somewhere where the God's domain does not exist, devil domains comes in. All time you are with God and God's with you until you are clear mind and you are clear soul. But once you start infecting your soul with material requirement, and material requirement is something that kills everything of soul requirement, both clash with each other, material and soul. Because material we know doesn't exist forever, but soul exists forever. Even then, we prefer material and say, oh, this is society, this is life. Jindagi yahi hai, jindagi yahi hai. Takes our jindagi by saying that jindagi yahi hai. In fact, when you say jindagi yahi hai, jeena yahi hai, life yahi hai, when you say that life yahi hai, means life gayi hai. Life yahi hai, life gayi hai. Because at that time you start losing life. Life is what God wants from you to do. That's life. God is not interested in your children. God is interested in your efforts. God gives you children because you like it. God gives you everyone you like it. But God had some program with you. That program you forgot and you just started living. Oh, this is life. समाज में रहना है तो ये करना है, यही जिंदगी है. आप भूल जाते हैं यही इंजीनियरिंग है. इंजीनियरिंग का मतलब वो इंजीनियरिंग नहीं, इंजीनियरिंग का मतलब लाइफ इंजीनियरिंग. आपको लगता होगा कुछ पागलपन की बातें करता है, करने के लायक फिर कोई बात नहीं है. हम पागल ही सही, पागल तो हैं, कुछ तो हैं, यही कम है क्या. पागल होना कोई छोटी बात नहीं होता. इट्स नॉट स्मॉल डेजिग्नेशन इफ आई कॉल माई सेल्फ मैड और ल्यूनेट, बिकॉज आफ्टर ऑल इट इज लिंक्ड टू माइंड. When you cannot understand mind and I use my mind and you can't interfere from there. Oh, what he's talking, I can't understand. He keeps on talking all time, he keeps on walking all time, and he thinks this and that which I cannot understand. That stage you call me psycho. Yes, I'm psycho, but I am happy that I am getting information all time. That information must be used. That information must be used. Just think, you read 35, 40 or so many subjects in degree in 4 or 5 years time. How can you remember them? You can't remember even a page of book, but you remember so much. How you remember that much? That is what miraculous thinking comes in. So many people wrote that 50 books, 30 books, 40 books we studied, but you don't remember them page by page, you don't remember by formula by formula, but when you read those books you can understand. Yes, I studied it that year and I can re-understand it now. Maybe I refresh now and study, and you do, and you try to understand better than at time you studied in university you could not understand them. That is what it is. This means programmed already in your mind. When it sees that again, it immediately says, yes, you learned it that time, and you learn again and again, and refresh and refresh and refresh, so that you get it more better than every time before. And that is what you can say a kind of experimental study or experience study. First time you can't understand. When you were a kid, you say, oh, your father used to say 2 plus 2, tell me how much. 2 plus 2. You don't know how to calculate that. But once you calculate it many times, you now say 2 to 4 is 4. Every trick you say, why you ask me again? Because it's programmed. In beginning, it was not programmed. Now it's programmed, and that's why tables are used, and countings are used, and formulas are used, everything is used, so that once you memorize that forever, it becomes a program, and when you use it, it comes in, and that's can say literally engineering. This is means program engineering. It is, or software. Your mind has software. That engineering is this software which is computers. The very small softwares. Mind is very big software. I talked many times of soul engineering. You might have not have noticed that, but notice that मैंने बहुत बार पहले वीडियो बनाए हैं. माइंड क्या कहता है, सोल क्या कहती है, नंबर्स क्या कहते हैं. आपने शायद ध्यान नहीं दिया है, इसलिए आपको मालूम नहीं है. Engineering is engineering. It is use of mind. Actually, engineering, to be very frank, is nothing but use of mind. How much you can use, how far you can use, how many times you can use, with how much potential you can use your mind, and that is called engineering. It can be medical engineering, it can be chartered engineering, it can be another kind of engineering, it can be life engineering, it can be society engineering, it can be change engineering, it can be whatever. Engineer means change. Change, if you can change, that is engineering. If you can change, because generally engineers are called change agents. Change agents. If there is someone who can change, it is engineer. Who can break, it is engineer. Who can make, it is engineer. Engineer means best use of mind. If you can, you can. When we, as I talked yesterday about structures, and I said that our body is also a structure. Mind is also a structure, and the structure of mind is so powerful, so full of potential that potential can't be seen. There is potential, we can't see that. Mind potential, real potential, we can't see that. Called spirit, strength of mind, you can say. Spirit is unit of mind. Power of mind is a spirit. You can say, oh, he's a spirited person. You say sometimes, oh, this person energetic. This means, when you say a spirited person, this means energetic person. It doesn't mean who drinks spirit. No. There's already a spirit in your mind, a spirit in your body, and that spirit is strength of your mind and strength of your body. Your body needs that spirit throughout life, all times a day. And that spirit is in you. You may say, I'm talking engineering or write up something else. Yes, you may say that, but I'm talking real engineering. When I say civil field engineering, general, designs, construction, organizations, communications, coordination, project quality, why should be behind quality of concrete standards. These are all very small discussions, but what I'm discussing is whole engineering. Under engineering, you have to live. All are living under engineering. Social engineering, society engineering, sociology engineering, economical engineering, economics engineering, civics engineering. In fact, whatever you do, whatever you implement is engineering. Engineering means application of mind. Mind with genius, not simply mind with genius angle. If you are genius, if you can use your mind with genetical powers, with powers that can give potential, kinetism, dynamism, that engineering is required. Civil engineering is very small, electrical, mechanical, all engineering is very small, but that engineering is master of everything. That engineering is master of engineering. Master of it. Why I say sometimes, I don't understand, but I say that. Yeah, really it is. When I say mathematics, yes, that's a very small field of engineering. I can say there's nothing wrong with it. It's engineering. When I say, for example, I say that, let's say this is a book of construction, you can say. The book of construction, right? This is a book of construction in foundation engineering. What does it mean? It's a book, I know it's a book. There's nothing new in this. This is a book written by someone, and it gives so many diagrams, so many explanations this book gives. And you know, it gives so many chapters, so much in this that the student can learn very basics, very everything. But what is purpose? Point is that what is purpose of that? Purpose of that is how to learn something. I referred to this book long before, and I will refer also in coming times. Now I'm trying to reconnect to you through these talks that I do not consider engineering other than nature. Engineering doesn't mean profession here. Professional engineering, yes, that's professional engineering, I understand. We have to live with that. We have to move with that. There's no other way. Though it's named engineering, it's named profession. But I'm talking father of engineering, and that is engineering which I am engineer. But where is actual engineer? Actual engineer is in mind, in your capacity. If you disconnect it with monetary gains, you can see where does engineering lie, where does it stay, as you can say, real engineering world. That's the main point. I belong to civil engineering field, and civil engineering field is, you can say, field for everyone. Because my you can say objectives are structures and their finishes. My objectives are that everybody who uses these structures, whether I produce them or somebody else produces them, it's my design or it's somebody else designs, and I use those designs for construction, or I design that, whatever it is meant for some users, some occupants who would occupy those structures. It is also required that every occupant should be safe, should be healthy, and should stay in good environment. These requirements of structures always should be realized. If you can't do that, you don't do your job. Now, I am not saying that you push into them or inculcate into them all these: health, safety, environment, ergonomics. I'm not saying that. But your structure should make within them a feeling that these requirements have been met. If these feelings do not come into occupants, believe me, they cannot sleep in that structure. They cannot stay in that structure. Your structure should assure them that this structure is safe, this structure can serve what purpose was intended to do, and this is having good environment for you, and you can enjoy your stay in this structure. That feeling and that reality, both feeling as well as in action, must be seen. That person who stays there should not be frightened, but should be smart enough to feel that this structure belongs to that person, and that is very important point we have to. If you cannot do that, then you don't do your job. Engineering is that. If you design and make that structure should be so strong, having that much capacity to create confidence, first in you and then in that occupant who uses it. If both generate confidence about that structure, that is called professional structure. Just like I'll call professional engineer or professional design, Same way it is professional structure, it is professional building, or whatever else it is. Professional means, of course, there is profession related to occupation, related to earning, but there's another profession that relates to faith, relates to nature. Means everything is amalgamated in nature. Nothing can be done other than that. If you think you can do other than nature, then you are thinking uselessly. You cannot do anything without support of nature, without support of resources, and without support of your mind and others' minds. Because all resources you cannot think of, you have to use resources produced by others as well. So your mind is important, also minds of those whose products you are using also should be valued, and they should have similar level of thinking that everything cannot be measured in terms of money or materials. Materials are used, but you cannot simply say your capability is restricted to material value, because mind has no value, it cannot be measured. Yes, products of mind can be measured, but mind is so immense, it is so powerful, it has so much scope of attraction that it can catch from here. Sitting here, this mind can help you catch what God wishes for you, what God responds to, what God thinks that you should do. That's what is important. Well, you cannot consider what I'm talking is philosophical or something else. It's not philosophical, it is rational. I'm talking to you, very much rational. Based on my thinking, my experience of life, it is very much rational. Because lives keep on moving and you cannot stay at one place forever, whoever you are. You have to move from place to place because it's your duty, it's your work on earth. You cannot stay at one place, you have to move. And that movement is very, you can say, very much normal. There is no person who can stay from birth to death at one place. It can be tree only, that it was available when you were born and it's still available when you are gone, though it might have been planted by you, but tree is tree and you are you. Tree cannot move because its roots are fixed in ground, it cannot move. But your roots are not fixed in ground, your roots fixed in God. And if you think that way, my work is nothing, it's work of God, so certainly it shall be work of God. God is biggest engineer of universe. Remember, there is no other engineer who can compete with God. There is no doctor who can compete with God. Actually, there is no one who can compete with God. I don't care for religions, to be very frank. I don't care what religions are, because these are assumptions only. All religions are assumptions, suppositions, based on certain imaginary books, based on something which others used to think before we came to earth. So I don't consider that one very much authentic or powerful. But what you experience your way in your life, how you can make this earth better, this environment better, life of others better, economize use of resources, all these factors help me to understand what are facts. Facts are facts. You cannot say I can criticize facts, I can condemn facts. If you condemn facts, you condemn yourself, very frankly speaking. You condemn yourself. You have no such right, you cannot do that. And if you think you can do that, then you mar yourself, you defeat yourself, and that's what I don't want to do. And long before I remember, now this is a book, something else, I'm not referring it to Noora, but I'm just trying to say this book was engineering book actually. This was engineering book, and I wrote it long back, and I'm not For example, I'm just showing you something by chance. If this page is with me, you see, for example, this is our country, this is our country, you can say, and this map of this country, and this map was actually drawn. It was designed as a rock piece, or you can say a slab, inclined slab, on which there are so many paths are given, and water flows from top to bottom, and you walk on that. It's that kind of stuff, though it's not done. It's just imagination. It's a kind of imagination. I'm trying to tell how imagination can be done. It's something you can say water garden. I named it water garden. It's you are sitting, you're walking on a garden, though it's not a garden, it's water garden. Same way, there's so many imaginations we had to think of. This all engineering, though it's only on paper, so it was on. Maybe I don't have power to do it, but just on paper is also required in some era, and that paper may be searched by someone else when I die, and that person may do it. Maybe I cannot say, and it is all like that. Means my today's focus is different, so I'm just trying to show you, and also for example, something which have been done in world and which I cannot be done in world, both are there. I have discussed already with you these books. I don't know where cover page of this is actually. I don't know where it's gone. No problem. Anytime you can see that. That sometimes misses, sometimes doesn't misses. I think maybe somewhere here. Let me see. Yeah, it's here. So it was cover page of this book. No, because they actually torn, and this is that one. This is civil engineering building practice. Yeah, of course, I am author of that, but that's not important. Important is information, and that information is. So now, well, I just for reference I gave you this, because I'm trying to recollect what I shared with you in my past, because for 2 or 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, I have been disconnected with you regularly as I used to be, and I try to be back with some modifications, of course, and this talk is also one of them, because I just took second or third talk to you. There should be any talks before I go into details, and I just try to confine to engineering and quality. This is very important point. Quality and engineering are related to each other with full force, because without engineering there can be no meaning of quality, and quality itself is engineering, just like designs engineering, planning engineering, safety engineering, work engineering, and even human resources control engineering, and all controls engineering. Engineering has no limit. Again, I say I don't want to bind engineering into certain definitions, because engineering, whole universe is engineering. I should say whole universe engineering. I had such certain talks last time where related to solar engineering and related to economics, and economics is also related to engineering, because how much material you have in earth, that relates to engineering. You cannot simply say people don't understand what economy is. Actually, economy is very big part of engineering, though we do not care for it. It's source engineering. Source engineering, you may say, whatever materials you get on earth, people do not know, but they don't understand. But we have stone, we have dust, we have iron, steel, gold, platinum, all expensive materials we get from earth only. Water we get from earth, clouds we get from earth, in fact, rain we get from earth, and food we get from earth. Do we get this somewhere else? Yes, of course, we get sun rays away, other from sources other than earth, and air we get from some other source. Of course, once that's come, it's our source, but rain is recirculation from earth water. So whatever we get, material, we call it materials, and we feel proud in that. Oh, I have this much material, but don't you think from where you get it? Earth is not very big if you compare it to size of other planets, or even to compare to sun. Earth is very, very small. And when I make such statement, you may feel, what it's talking talking, but it's very small. It's not small, it's big, they say. Yes, comparative to your home, compared to your city, compared to your state, it is big. But when you think about this in terms of solar scale, it's very small. Again, I say it's very small. But we have not understood it. Earth is indeed small. It's only few kilometers in diameter, say say 12,500 kilometer in diameter. So it may be big for someone who cannot understand diameters, who cannot understand kilometers, can be big for them, but it's really small for me because I know it is small. Your test is on earth. To be very frank, everybody is being tested on earth because this is small. This is a small platform. We are being tested of our potential. This test shall give you certificate. When you find that certificate after reaching your real home, because earth is not real home. जाना वहाँ है जहाँ असलियत है, पता चलेगा क्या प्रमाण मिला. See, when you apply for some job, you have to prepare your CV, or you call it biodata, you can say biodata. That CV you submit, and every time you have to change your CV according to update that you have, educational update or professional update or whatever update, which suits, which update says that you can apply for this job. You do that. Here you have to, or if you not you, somebody else on behalf of you shall prepare your update. What you are doing on earth, your report is already going, don't worry. Automatic report reaches there. You have done this, you have done that, you are doing this, you are thinking this. Your soul has developed to this level because there is some power sitting and taking control of your measurements. You may not be knowing that. So each update, each day work already goes there on your daily job record. Yes, I can say daily job record. How many daily job records have gone till now? In my case, in your case, you know well. Every day it goes once. So how many days you have passed on this earth? So many reports have gone. Don't worry about that. That's what accumulation of documents is there. So your CV will be printed out when you reach that home for another home, another journey. So just like you make CV for hunting a job, here also question is that you have hunted a job. Not necessary that you have to work again on this earth, maybe somewhere else, but your CV shall help in making decisions where you should go. That's what I'm saying, though it's little deflected talk from engineering, but engineering makes your career, don't worry. You have to understand sometimes God based on what's happening on earth. Because what's happening on earth cannot happen without order of God. You may be in the engineering world, you may be in medical world, or in whatever world you are directly being surveillanced, being monitored by power of God. Which power it is, you may not know. If you keep this point in mind, first of all, you will not be corrupt. You will always think of God, there's some power helping me. And when somebody helps me, why should I think credit should come to me? Why you worry about credit? In fact, no credit is due to you. Because You have nothing of your own. You have nothing of your own. I always think like that. I am different kind of person. Yes, money is money, power is power, society is society, status is status. But that's all temporary. All temporary. Yes, if you imagine it will be different, let us assume that God changes today rule. And let us see God changes rule. And God says, okay, I change my regulation, and from today onwards, I allow whatever you do on earth, whatever you do for yourself, whatever you can bring with you. Don't get shocked. It's imagination. It's imagination. It's not going to happen. It's just kalpana, hypothetical. I am just thinking it can happen. Why it can't happen? So God gives a grace to you. Okay, my dear kids, when you come, you don't worry, don't leave anything you did there or you made there, bring it. What shall happen? Think of. Can you think this way? What shall happen if gods permit you? Very, very irrelevant question, is it? Yes, it is irrelevant because it doesn't happen that way. But if it happens, then you think flight shall fly? What shall happen? How many houses would fly? How many cars would fly? You will find everything flying gradually every day in sky coming from earth. Oh, see that house is going. Oh, see that car is flying, the truck is flying. Oh, see that is flying, going to God's house. What's left on earth? Because everything is going with you. But this is imagination. Imagination. It's not going to happen. Yet I say imagination is imagination. Imagination gives you chance to think. No imagination means no thinking. It's like that. You eat morning till evening and sleep. Get up again, eat and sleep. Only that cycle. How far can you do with that? Points. Points must be understood here. You know, when I was young, I could not even understand how economy works. What does money earning means? How money comes in and how it goes out. I did not understand. Nobody told me also. And because I did not even know what study I was doing when I was studying. I was in the university. I did not know what shall I become. But I knew, yes, something is going on. And to be very frank, I did not know what this engineering was. And I did not even know I should go to this study. Some good man, some friend of my father advised me, you do this. He advised from which point of view? Because of earning point of view. You shall get some job, you go there. So I accepted that advice because I had no advice in myself. I had no plan in myself. I was nothing, to be very frank. In my schooling, I was nothing. I was just very dirty boy, can say, very stupid boy. No ambition, nothing. Whoever said, I used to become electrician sometime, used to become God sometime, used to become this, that, means nothing, nothing and nothing. And I don't know, I never knew that I'll join civil engineering. I never knew. But remember, when you do not know anything, life teaches you, because there is no teacher in this world more effective than life itself. Life teaches you everything. And when life teaches you, you learn best. I was very third grade student. Very third grade. It was not third grade, very third grade. Because of my background is very, you can say, weak economically, educationally, very weak. But I struggled. That's the fact. And that's why I started this talk saying struggle. Those people who do not struggle, they don't have patience, they don't have command, and they can't take responsibility. Those who never struggles. Because responsibility is related to struggle. Responsibility means you have to struggle. That's it. If you can't struggle, you can't be responsible. I'm not breaking. I think my strength is breaking, right? No, don't worry. I won't break. It's a little lazy I'm getting because of rest, Sunday morning, and I am not sleeping, and no problem. And also I have taken my shoes. I wear my shoes. I think that's I'm losing my strength from foot, I think. So because of strain, I took out my shoes. No problem. I'll wear it back, and I have my leg problem, foot problem because of this surgical operation. So I just relieved little by taking off shoes, but it is giving me laziness, so I'm wearing it back. No problem. I'm wearing back. I'm sorry for that. Let me wear it back because it takes a strain again. It's not easy to wear this shoe. It's difficult to wear because it's very tight. One feet is very tight. Where my operated leg is there, it's very tight. But no way, I'll wear it. This is also a kind of struggle I'm doing now. It's not done yet. I have to do it again. So by chance, this is all kind of struggles you have to do. My feet, I know it's cold, and it's a big problem for me. I can't walk, and my stick. I'm using my stick. I showed you again. I show you my stick. It's a little distant from here. This is my walk foundation. You can see. I'm using this to walk, and that is also gradual. And before this, I used to walk using walker, and before that, I had been in bed since 12th September 2020. Well, I'm just telling you friendly, don't take it otherwise, because sometimes it's better to be personal with people. So little personal only, not total personal. I'm feeling better now. My laziness degree is down. Well, thank you for giving me time. So, my dear friends, I was confined to talks of engineering, and I think engineering has no bound. It can be talked at whatever length. Civil engineering, the name is civil, but I don't know why name is civil. I don't understand this point. I never asked this question. Actually, it is engineering, to be very frank, not civil engineering. But because name is civil engineering or structural engineering, we had to accept that fact. But actually, every engineering is mental based. There's a little difference in engineering and in health science or medical. That opportunities to think in engineering are far better than medical science, because medical science is directly linked to health and therefore to everyone, and there's a question of survival of life or continuation of health. But in engineering there's something else. It's use of resources, understanding resources, best use, optimum use. How can you use in a best way? And not only natural resources, natural products also, like human, like animal, like machines. Of course, machines is done by engineering, but original materials are natural resources. And product of engineering are long living. Longevity is more than. So it's different world. It's too late to understand engineering, really speaking. You cannot understand in your early times, early days of early years of your career, because in that period you are having pride. Every new engineer is very prideful. Every matured engineer is a little less prideful. And when you reach in your old age, you don't have any pride, though you are full of pride. You are full of pride, but you don't have any pride in expression. But in your starting age, you have only prideful expression, but no store for pride. This is difference. Pragmatism we call. Pragmatism is leadership. Pragmatism is analytical solutions. Consideration-based solutions, not impactful solutions. Calculated solutions. If you can calculate well, you can do well. And calculation, it doesn't mean mathematical calculation. I mean to say interpretation based calculations. Sometimes calculations are having different mode. How you decide something, how you interpret something, how many options are there, you have to consider into your calculations. When we calculate in engineering, these are formula, these are processes, these are methods, these are effects, as I said last time, forces. Particularly in our engineering, when we design something or we think to design something, we have to understand mechanism. Mechanism is very important. Mechanism of single application or mechanism of two applications or mechanism of complexities or mechanism of whatever you can say. How many forces act on something. Sorry. Excuse me, cold. I think that. See, this temperature effect. If I put my hanker here, you can't see my face better. I think I put a no problem. What's the problem with that? Okay, I put my hanky. Maybe it gives you some relief. Huh? I put with me, but I said, okay, it kills. So let me try put a mask here and see how it works. If maybe you can't see my face, don't worry about that. Let me try for 5 minutes, see if I get rid of this cold temperature, because health is wealth, Now it is mask, right? Don't be surprised with that early morning, and I don't want to expose my face, so I got cold. Let us try our way. So it is now COVID mask. So I am now COVID patient. Okay. what what I say is different now. Sorry. It's like entertainment. Sometimes entertainment pause it is, and I am now joking. Okay. So when I say calculation phase is dependent on forces applied on something, how these forces behave, how does this force, or you can say actions, or I say load, how this load moves down onto that member and further transmitted, which is in our imagination. We cannot prove it, we cannot show it, but it happens. For example, sometime you are sitting in a chair as I am sitting now. You just sit and enjoy, you don't know what you are doing. You see, now my steam is coming out of my nose and I am getting this glass moistured. And that's the problem here. So you don't even understand what your chair is performing for you. Because you are using chair, you don't know how is chair performing, but you are using that. That is one aspect of life. Another aspect is, you know what chair is doing. Chair is not doing anything, but you are sitting in that chair. This means chair is accepting you. Chair accepts you, that's why you are sitting there. If chair doesn't accept you, it will break. There are 4 supports of your chair. There is a slab of your chair on which you are sitting, and there are some handrails here on which your arms are here, and there is a back here. So what do you say about that? And this floor on which my chair is right, I am sitting, can't it be called foundation ground of this? So there is something, you can say, how forces, my weight, whatever weight I see, it's sitting on its slab, small slab. Then this slab is transferring this load to its 4 legs. 4 legs, or if it's like this steel one, no legs, to that frame, steel frame. And then this transferred to floor. And of course, once it's transferred to floor, that floor is taking its cares, going further down. That's very small weight in comparison to building weight. But what I'm saying is how to understand. Sometimes it's very clear, but people do not understand what is right, what is not right. It's your contemplation. You enjoy life, you say I enjoy life, then you can't think anything. Enjoy life, but with smart level. If you enjoy life and also you understand what life is, how these applications are, I think you shall be better in position to explain. Everyday applications of engineering, just like applications of, like I can say, transactions, contracts, applications of engineering are affected every day, which we don't understand. When I walk, you think I don't do engineering activity. When I walk, say I am walking. My weight may be 50 kilo, 60 kilo, 70 kilo, 80 kilo, 100 kilo. But I have also 2 feet which are having very small area in comparison to my body. How much this area could be? Let us say your leg may be 20 centimeter long or 25 centimeter long, and it may be 10 centimeter wide or 15 centimeter wide. Let us say 15 centimeter wide. Let us say 15 into 20, it is 300 square centimeter. So your 1 feet is 300 square centimeter, and half of that is in touch with ground. So it is 150 square centimeter. 150 square centimeters your 1 feet, and 150 square centimeters other feet. So 350 square centimeter your touch area with ground when you are standing. This 300 centimeter square is taking your load of 80 kilogram or 70 kilogram. Don't you understand what is this? You say, oh yes, it's okay, but you never notice that. Yes, it's okay, fine. You are standing with this 80 kilogram load on this 30 square centimeter area. So you know what stress your leg is transferring to. First of all, what stress your feet is taking, that you have told us, which is reaction to your body. When your load is applied on your feet sole, you can say sole, 300 centimeter square is your sole, and your 80 kilogram load is on this. So you can divide this 80 kilogram load is taken by your 300 square centimeter of your feet area. So you know per square centimeter how much is taken. This is part of mechanism. This is part of stress and strain. You can say, when we say stress, this is a stress. This load 80 kilogram divided by this centimeter square is known as stress. And when there is some pinch in your leg, the strain or something, say it is affected by 0.01 millimeter, but it comes back again, so you cannot say it is a strain. But if that time when it is pressed, that stage is strain stress. So much strain is there, change in that 0.01 millimeter due to load on your sole, that's a strain. So this applies here as well. Means sometimes you do something, you cannot notice it. Your load is going on surface, it may be road surface or it may be some other surface. Your load is going even on, you can say your body's load is transferred to some other part of your, say your head is on your table, or you are standing somewhere, you are walking very fast, your body is vibrating, your blood is circulating fast. Somewhere within your body itself, there is reaction, interaction, reaction, interaction. You feel heat is generated in your body. What is that? Do you ever think that? Or you say, no, it's exercise. Exercise is another part. But your body functions due to thermal energy. This thermal energy is generated in your body because of so many actions. Daily actions, all time actions, and these are all part of engineering. Our body is full of many parts from head to sole, as I said before, and there are many joints in our body. Joints here at neck, joints here at throat, joints here at armpit and shoulder, like joints here at legs. Means there are so many joints, and we know joints are in structures. Every structure is joints. These joints are very flexible in our body, but we keep structural joints rigid or partly rigid. Flexibility doesn't work there because there is some definition of structure, but nature of body is that it has to be flexible because it has to work in that way all the time. If suppose I say my arm is fixed. If you keep your arm fixed, say, okay, I fix here, then it will remain as it is. So it can't function other than this. Maybe you may should do like this, but you can't go up and down in this. You can't use otherwise. So requirement is different. In my building, this is requirement, or this is requirement, or this is requirement. Whatever is requirement there, it has to stay there. It's having same function here. You see, if this is my hand here like this, I say this is cantilever. Is it? But here it's flexible. There it cannot be flexible. That is one point. But both are engineering. Both are engineering senses. Think of head and this portion. These are fixed. Right? But internal mechanism is different. My eyes are fixed in position, but they are rotatable vertically. Winking. My legs are permanent with my body, but these are flexible at hips, at knees, at heel, because of functional requirement. Without that, they cannot function. This is what difference in engineering technology is or requirement is. We have certain requirements in life, and that requirements must be fulfilled, and those requirements can be fulfilled only by acceptance of requirement. And how that requirement can be fulfilled, by which theory, by which mechanism, by which principle, and we apply that one. That's called engineering mechanism, engineering principle, engineering input. We have certain requirement everywhere. That requirement we have to fulfill. That is called best way of engineering. If you cannot achieve that aim, you cannot meet that requirement, then engineering is not working. When we say requirement is to be fulfilled, means it should be fulfilled. If you cannot fulfill that, then you fail. It should be flexible or it should not be flexible, or it should be rigid or not rigid. That you have to decide. Remember, flexibility to rigidity, there are so many stages. We are all made of elemental structures, atomic structures, not elemental atomics, but generally. God is our teacher, we know, and this body is also our teacher. But we are using certain resources, and those resources must be respected. And those resources must be used in such a way that you first of all understand those mechanisms of resources or sources. Once you understand them, only then you can use them in engineering. And understand of that resource is also called material resources or material sources. We have to understand what material is about. Once we understand what material is about, we can find best solutions. I think I should remove it for timing because it's giving me problem to speak. Let me see now. Okay, we'll see later on. See, that's the problem here. Again, no problem. Let me face it. Sorry, gentlemen. Now, our requirement, as I said, is very important in engineering. Every application is based on requirement. Every solution is applied to meet requirement, and application is only application until requirement is fulfilled. Once you cannot fulfill requirement or you are not able to find solution to deliver that requirement, then your engineering doesn't work. You can say that. Engineering should work. It's important that your requirement should be successful. If that's called solution. Solution to fulfill requirement is engineering, and if you have no requirement fulfill answer, then your engineering is incomplete. You have to work on that again and again. Applications of engineering is very important point. Engineering is a domain, or you can say domains of domain. Domain of domains. In engineering, we have no right to abuse materials. No right to abuse materials. And not only materials, no right to abuse some other resource or source, like human resource, like equipment resource, because everything has some power, some strength. If say rock, we say it's source of particles of aggregate. We use them in small pieces, from big stone we crush them to small pieces, and those small pieces also to dust, or you can say very fine particles. Those all which come from solid itself. You see, rock is a solid. It comes from solid sedimentary rock or igneous rock or whatever rock it is. We crush that, it comes back to us in form of aggregates. And again these aggregates are converted to solid in form of concrete. See what a beauty of this process. It was already a concrete, a solid in form of rock in nature. Igneous rocks, or it can be sedimentary rocks, or metamorphic rocks, or whatever rocks. It was in solid state. I was not happy with that because I want to use for engineering. I crushed that. Right? It is already solid, but because it's not useful as solid, we crushed it. Can I bring a mountain, put on my site to live? No, that's not possible. So, first was to break it. See, here it's not breaking for no purpose. Purpose is for some other purpose. So, here breaking is constructional. Constructive purpose. Then I have to use these breaking results, breaking products in whatever form for making again in concrete form. Means one material that was used, that is available in nature in one state, is broken and it is to be mixed again, made again by combinations, various proportions of various types of materials or broken materials, and bring back it into form of state of concrete. Or you can say something else. This means it's a long process. It's easy to say I have got this material and produce concrete, but you never think of how this material was made and given to you. That is also part of engineering. Because without that material, now we can say this source has become material for us, and this material is going to get me engineering work done. And if this material does not exist or is not available, I won't be able to do my project of construction. So what I say, everything is related to other thing. There's a sequence of activities just to get something done. So when I say my building is here, you cannot say it's your building. There's a long process behind that. Very, very long process does exist for this structure to be produced as a structure from materials which are not structure. It sometimes looks very unusual that something is being discussed in a very different way. As I have explained to you already, concrete is very powerful material if it is used properly, and if it's not used properly, then it's very, very difficult material, because once it solidifies, then it behaves in a different manner. It doesn't help you in a way you want it to help it. You want it to use it for your help. Here, concrete, steel collaboration, brick, mortar collaboration, concrete block, mortar collaboration, finishes collaboration, and services collaboration all make together some unity design, house or else, which you understand well. That's the problem here, body pains. This is my problem. I can't say what to do. Now I am swinging, it's also engineering. I am revolving myself here, I am getting revolving attitude. I am revolving angle, at some angle, and some force is being generated in my body, and that force is hitting me up, right? Don't you think some structure can move like this? This is sway. So I am swaying right to or left. I am swaying. Building sway, so I am swaying. I am cantilever. I am coming down. I am going up. I am coming down. I am going up. Structures. What is this? Hew, down, sink. Hew, sink. Hew, sink. What is this? Your building is hewed, up and down and up and down. You say failure, sinking and heaving, unequal settlement. Cantilever working, but it is dancing, it is failing. I move this way, wind pressure, I am moving this way, wind pressure, I am dancing, earthquake. What shall you call it? Everything is within you. If I have a structure like this, I can make it like that. Because body can do it. I can make it. I have to put in that structure flexibility coefficients and all such coefficient that meet this requirement. You can produce that. It won't be failing. It will work. But that compliance must be there, that requirement must be fulfilled. You have to understand the requirement and do it. That's it. Requirement. What is required? What is required? You have to define requirement. And once you define requirement, that can be engineered. That can be engineered. That's what we have to learn. We are not to be parrot to remember formula for everything. We have to understand basics first. We understand what life material is, how materials are, how we can use them, how we can use our mind for that purpose. Engineering education gives you only theory. They don't give you basics. Because time is very limited in education. They can't waste that time of very little, 4 years, 5 years, where 35 or 40 subjects are to be studied. No university can permit you everything. And therefore they do not feel inclined to teach you in a way that's far away located from books. Point lies in here. I am talking engineering of different world, not formal world, different world, because that lies behind actual study of engineering. Every study. We think building is beam column. Yes, we think building is beam column. People think that. You think with this bridge, this flyover has columns and pillars and slabs. Yes, it is. But you think here and stop. General public thinks that way, but stop. They don't go beyond. And when you don't go beyond means you do not travel on engineering, do not move on engineering world. And once you start moving on that to understand that, then you are entering engineering domain. Prior to whatever design, there is some concept. And prior to concept, there is some deep concept. If something is defined and given to you, do it. Then it's not your origin work. And origin work is different. Means you have to evolve it. You have to evolve it, and that's original work. Evolving something is very different than somebody gives you do this assignment. If somebody gives you do this assignment, means you are only supporting that person, not a requirement. You are yourself requirement of that person. As an engineer, that person requires an engineer, and you are that requirement. You are doing role of requirement. But when you are doing your say, your own work, it's much more valuable, though you may not be able to do it yourself. So just do not think construction is only what you see. What you see is only something out of many, many somethings. Those many somethings you do not realize, you do not consider, and you are moving in different direction. Part engineering, not full engineering. Engineering, if you want to learn, you can learn from universe. Universe, best engineering example. Whole solar system remains in equilibrium position. Absolute equilibrium position. With continuation of moments, with continuations of perpetual rotation of each planet, and with orbital movement of each planet. There is a solar system. And how many such solar systems do exist in world, in universe? When I say world, means universal world. We have no idea. But it's going on. It has been going on for or since this universe was created. In our engineering, we do little, very little, and we start boasting. Oh, my project, we did it. This country is very good in engineering, this country is this in engineering, this country is that in engineering. We boast about. That's the point. We are on earth and we boast a lot. Have we done space? Have we walked in space like we walked on earth? No. Is that not engineering? That is also engineering. But we do not know that. Because we are dependent on earth in each and every activity. Our real resource, real source, real platform is earth or lithosphere. So we are limited in this world. Without earth we cannot survive. We have taken so much from earth and we want to take so much more from earth, but we can't give back. We don't give back anything except liability, except debris, except what I can't define. Sometimes you may say, I'm getting in different mode. Possibly you may say, you have every right to say. But possible mode or no possible mode, it is world of engineering, I say. Engineering, again I say, whatever we do in engineering is application of mind. Only mind. It may be in designs, it may be in before designs, it may be in planning, it may be on-site execution, or it may be wherever. Application of mind. If you can understand very well application of mind, you will not find any problem in engineering. Because when you use mind, every problem runs away. Yes, it takes some time. I cannot say that. It takes some time. Immediate application doesn't give any result. But ultimately, your mind shall tell you what is right or what is not right. Again come back to mind, it says. So what should I do? Where should I go to? If mind is not to be considered, what to be considered? That is problem with this world. Because if you want to consider mind, you have to concentrate on your energy. You have to conserve your available energy in your body into your mind and then use it. Use of mind is not easy. Use of mind is not easy. In use of mind, you also forget sometimes that you have to take lunch or dinner. You miss it sometimes, but that is to be done. Sometimes you want to sleep, right? Okay, I am sleeping. But my mind does not permit me to sleep. It says, no, you feel pain of body, no problem. But you have to think for this problem, which I am giving you because you gave it to me. I don't want to keep this problem with me. I want to give you answer. Take it. Is that state not your state? क्या ये आपका काम नहीं है? आपको समझना नहीं है कि आप क्या करेंगे? आपने समस्या दे दी माइंड को, माइंड सो जाएगा? क्या सोचते हैं आप? प्रॉब्लम तो आप ही दे दी अपने माइंड को। तो आपका माइंड वो प्रॉब्लम ले के ना ले, क्या ले फिर वो? ये बात समझना बहुत जरूरी है। या तो आप अपने माइंड को प्रॉब्लम मत दीजिए, आराम से सो जाइए, कल देखेंगे, टुमारो आई विल लुक इनटू दिस। एंड रिमेंबर, माइंड इज नॉट योर सर्वेंट. Mind cannot stop even if you want to say stop it, it will not stop. It's so powerful tool. It's your friend also, but your enemy also. If you don't care for it, it will beat you, to be very frank. It will beat you, it will disturb you, it will break you. Because it is soul. Mind is house of soul. आत्मा, आत्मा का घर है ये, आपकी आत्मा का। टेंशन हो रही है मुझे भी। तनाव, मैं अभी तनाव में आ रहा हूं कि मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं। बोलना पड़ता है जिंदगी में कुछ समझने के लिए और समझाने के लिए। आज का जो नया यूथ, इंजीनियर यूथ, स्टूडेंट यूथ, दे नो एवरीथिंग। यू गो टू एनी वेबसाइट, एनी सोशल साइट ऑफ प्रोफेशंस, they keep on asking and asking and asking and asking this question, that question, that question, that question. After qualifying engineering, they keep on asking. And this clearly tells that they are not concentrated in life. They shall never concentrate in life. Because habit of asking and asking and asking, tell me this and tell me this and tell me this. After getting qualification, you always keep on asking, what did you learn then? This habit of asking others to solve your problem, are you mindless? दिमाग नहीं है आप में? You did not even try to solve that and you came to someone who is the solution of this? Not acceptable, not acceptable, not acceptable. At least not acceptable to me, now your colleague. Why you want others to tell you which your mind has to tell you? You want to keep aside your mind and insult your mind. And you are insulting your mind, don't forget that. Mind will not leave you. It will never stay with you if you conduct like that. Mind says, I am yours, use me. And if you are my boss, you are not using me. I feel insulted. I feel ignored, condoned. I lose my respect, my regard, mind says, because you are asking others to do this. And you can do this. That is called lack of concentration. That you are not concentrating on your thinking power and you are going to others to do that job which you could do yourself. Yes, you might have made one mistake, you might have made two mistakes, but ultimately you would got success if not 100%, 50%, 60%. Try that. That's important. Yes, even after that, if you're not able to get some answer, then okay, you can refer this to someone with the, I have got this, I want something else also, if it's possible to corroborate this or to augment this information. That is important. If your mind is not developed, powerful, it's not sound, there's no meaning of your education. Believe me, your education is barren. You are only crammed and passed, or you just learned question papers of last 10 years and you qualified. That's not education. That's not education. Engineering education is different. If you do not have that education level, then you cannot say you can think. If you cannot think, you are not qualified. You are not engineering educated. You are crammer. You just got through for purpose of getting through, not for purpose of learning. Your basics are not clear. Your elementary level is not clear. Yes, you have degree, but the degree is only degree, piece of paper. This degree doesn't guarantee that you can use this. That guarantee should come from your conduct, from your interest, how much interest you take in engineering practice. What I say again, thinking, thinking, thinking. Remember this forever if you want to succeed in your profession or in your life or in your family or in your society or wherever. If you can't think, which is limitless, which does not require any sales purchase agreement, which does not require any permission from your mind, which does not say anything, which accepts your command, right command or wrong command, your mind does it for you. So powerful it is, so merciful it is, it does not give or take anything from you. When you understand this point, that thinking is root of elementary, root of science, root of whole world, that time I am waiting for. You may be from whatever country, it doesn't make a difference. It does not make a difference you are from which country. It doesn't make a difference from which university you are qualified or from which institution you qualified. If your mind is strong, it's trying to think, because mind's purpose is to think, but it has to be trained as well. And if you got that factor of training status, then you are a successful person. Don't worry about which education degree you have. Your thinking potential is itself guarantee that you can do whatever you want to do. Thinking. It's commandable approach. Think. And some people say, yeah, he's saying thinking. What I think, I'm thinking is not. No, you are not thinking. Thinking also has many layers. You are thinking very ordinarily. You are not thinking calculatively. You are not thinking critically. When you think critically, you will get real answer. And with the easy going thing, you will not get any answer. Believe me. What I say, concentrate. Concentrate in your mind, not in your eyes, not in your chest, not in your chair. Concentrate on why there was a problem, what was problem, why did I not keep with me solution. You have to think that way. And if you think that way, you will find how to think and think and think, and your thinking ability shall increase. When if you are able to increase or augment your thinking ability, you can think and find solution, and there is no problem which you will not be able to solve. Of course, within certain limitations of your knowledge. I don't know how much you can agree with me, how much part of this you can agree with me, but even if you do not agree with me, I would still say think. When you say think or you say engineer, it's same thing. Because thinking is a process of engineer, means engineer is a genius, and you are genius only when you think. Otherwise you are not engineer. I cannot claim something, I cannot blame you as well, because you did nothing wrong that I can blame. I only suggest that brain is trained, not body. Every program trains brain, mind. You know this point. We know this point. And in civil engineering profession, thinking is very much important, because every project is new, unique, extraordinary, and you have to define that project, you have to decide of that project, you have to do that project as engineer. You cannot say only definition is enough. No, doing is also enough. Without doing something which you know, you cannot know really what's right or wrong. So, doing is very important, and knowledge is incomplete if it is not done. You may know hundreds of theories, hundreds of formulas, but if you do not use them, you cannot understand them. When I think about thinking itself, see, when I think about thinking itself, I feel immersed in some other world, and I find myself close to civil engineering. I think it's original engineering, it is civil engineering. Original engineering. Thinking is a process of contemplation. Thinking plus thinking plus thinking plus thinking means a chain of thinking and contemplation. Theory of structure requires it. If you cannot think, you cannot conceive a beam, a column. You cannot conceive. You cannot conceive how shall it behave, what is its application, am I sure or I'm not sure. Sometimes confidence is generated by thinking. It validates your thinking. Thinking validates your thinking. This means there are various stages of thinking in same process. Just like we say activity based links, this activity 1 or this, and we connect them. These activities have to move after this activity has to move, or we give some time days on that. That is very normal. But apart from them, thinking is, its value. Value of your potential. And only requirement is first step. First step. Second step. If you are not able to solve first step, second step. So, if you think and force others also to think, or generate in them value to be used, and you use that value yourself, you can use your generation. Generation of value and generation of thinking are same. If you value your potential, you can value your power. And every potential gives an increment to your power. Every solution gives you some magnitude, some direction. That must be carefully done. And civil engineering needs all this, remember. Civil engineering is so vast that your thinking is very important. Because there is no hard machine or design machine in engineering, just like in mechanical world or electrical world. You get technicalized items everywhere. And all those technicalized items are very different. We can understand what I am talking, you can understand what I am talking. Civil engineering projects are, each project is different and each project is your learning. Generally, repetitive projects are not available in engineering, except if there is a group of projects, say you have to construct so many similar types of schools or so many, because a chain of units you have to produce, that may be different case, but even in those sites may be different. Sites may be different. Sorry. Sites may be different, soil structure may be different, or environment may be different, or there may be some other difference also. In that case, you can say this part it is similar and part it is not. So there is a variance of applications, understanding, thinking. Sometimes we do not really understand. Even smallest application teaches you which we do not notice. Right? We learn many definitions, but we apply in life also, but we do not notice. Sometimes we notice, but we do not take care. While engineering says you have to understand everything. You have to understand. And understanding capacity is engineering. Nobody shall teach you as you can teach you. In engineering, self-teacher is very important. Building confidence is very important. And despite building confidence, even errors are possible. Errors are very important. If you do not have errors, you cannot get successful. This is life. Life. Life of what? Not your life, engineering life. Your life and in your life, engineering life, both clash with each other. In civil engineering case, both clash with each other. Because your life is based on material, or it is looking for material. But engineering life is just using material, it's different. You can use material for your life if you own that material, if you have power to consume that material or to use that material. That is your life. But engineering life is not for you, it's for others. So you have no potential responsibility there except that do something for this and do something for this and get away home. That point should be clearly differentiated and should be clearly pointed out by yourself for yourself. In engineering, nobody will tell you something and you will not tell someone else except that you instruct someone else, do like this and do like that. That's it. You will instruct draftsman, draw this and this, you will not tell why to draw that. Because it's no use. You have to instruct, you draw yourself and you do it right, or you do yourself. That is engineering. I consider engineers as powerful domains. Engineers are powerful powers. Powerful people also, you can say, as far as engineers are concerned. Never ever criticize your capability or your others' capability before others have it. You may find me sometimes sleeping instantly, right? Oh, this man has slept. But that is not sleeping. Sometimes during speech, something comes to my mind and it pulls my attention to tell me something. So don't consider this. It happened many times in the past also. Because when you keep on talking and thinking, sometimes you happen that you feel relaxed and go to relaxed mode. Feel for few minutes only, not for all. Just like it happens often. It should happen because after all, we are human beings. We are not superpower. It's now about 3 hours to go because I don't want to extend it more due to my health and due to many other reasons. Conclusion of today, we can say, is very general, maybe very boring or maybe interesting both. Why we are engineers, what we can think, how can we think, what's purpose of thinking, and what is level of thinking, and what is level of its use, and how can we give weightage to this point, this process of thinking, which is engineering process. Those engineers who think a lot can do a lot, and those engineers who cannot think a lot can do only what is taught them to do, means they can only follow. So it's your own domain to decide, your own power to decide that you want to follow in engineering or you want to do, you can say, exponential work in engineering, or original work, you can say, original work. Exponential, many people do not understand. You are going to be exponent of something or you are just an ordinary person who do not consider engineering as a powerful word. That is difference, and that difference must be, you know, taken in different, you can say different, I should say race or something, you can say whatever else, or you can say that engineering is something that should be thought of. It should be thought based engineering, think based engineering. You have to be part of think tank or think river or think ocean or sea. Thinking does not cost you anything because it's not your ownership, it's God's ownership. If you think, God shall transmit what is required for you, and if you do not think, God shall not give anything because you are not receiving, and God doesn't give anything to those who do not receive. This is automatic process. You should take this opportunity in your life, and this mind aura can be increased, its capacity can be increased and kept on increasing by process of thinking, which is yours. And that is very important aspect of life. Keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and with this thinking management and thinking assurance and thinking direction and thinking itself. Thinking means engineering, I can say engineering, think, engineering means what? This means engineer equal thinker. Engineer equals thinker. Engineer is thinker. Non-engineer is not that level thinker as engineer is. I think I should close it now. Thank you very much. Hope I think to meet again. I think to meet again and enjoy this. Alright, let me close it now. Thank you very much. Meet you again. Alright.